right, these are going to be our notes on line and value. You can fill in this title right here, this title slide, with your name if you'd like to. And then we're going to click on to slide 2, which is line. So there are 3 different types of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about types of line, direction of line, and combining line. And then we're going to explain why are these important. What do they do? What do they tell you? For types of lines, we're going to come up here and actually click on our line tool. The first one is a straight line. That's just a line that doesn't change direction anywhere. It just goes on a straight, doesn't bend, doesn't curve, doesn't turn, just a straight line. Curved, on the other hand, we can click on our line tool, and there's a curved option right here. You're going to click, click, and click, and it'll let you go back and forth a couple times. Double click when you're done, and now you have a curved line. It's a slowly changing line that bends back and forth. Zigzag, on the other hand, is a line that changes at an angle. So at one point, it changes direction. So we can use our elbow connector here, click and drag. This is a zigzag line. It turns sharply at these points right here. So like the Z in the word zigzag, that's a zigzag line. The C in the word curved, that's a curved line. All right, the reason that it's important to know the different types of lines is because straight lines are stable, whereas curved and zigzag suggest movement. So your eye follows this path. It's like a winding. It brings you around a project more than this one where you're just like, whoop, that's done. I'm actually going to go and zoom in a little bit. So it's a little bit, oop, not that far up. So it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. That's too zoomed in. Let's do that. Okay. So now you can see. So we have our straight line, our curved line, our zigzag line, and we're going to say straight lines are stable, zigzag lines and curved lines suggest movement. So go ahead and add that to yours. Pause this, unpause me when you're ready to move on to direction of line. Okay, for direction of line, we're going to go back to our plain old line tool right here. A vertical line is straight up and down. Click back to our line tool. Horizontal line, straight side to side. Click back to our line tool. And a diagonal line is anything that is not vertical or horizontal. So everything, so if this is vertical, all of this until just before it's horizontal, all of those are diagonal lines. Okay. This one, why is this important? Vertical and horizontal lines are static. They stay still. Diagonal lines suggest movement. So these ones, things like trees are vertical, buildings are vertical, like the ground is horizontal, bridges are horizontal. Most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, those things don't move. They're very steady, they stay still, they have a very stable, calming effect in a work of art because they have that sturdiness, that structure. Diagonal, on the other hand, that's like darting around, running down a hill, sledding down a hill. All of that is active and movement and creates a much less stable, less steady, less calm kind of an artwork. So go ahead and finish filling in those 3 types of lines and finish filling in those 2 different definitions here. When you're ready, you can unpause me and move on to combining lines, but until then, sorry, a little too far, but until then, go ahead and pause and come back when you're ready. Okay, last section is combining lines, so we're going to use multiple lines in each of those boxes. So again, click on our line tool over here, parallel. Parallel lines are going to be two types of lines that go in the same direction. It could be more lines that they all go in the same direction. You only have to draw two. The L's in the word parallel are parallel. So they go the same direction, they don't get closer, and they don't get farther apart. Perpendicular, on the other hand, those are lines that meet at a right angle. So they meet at 90 degrees. They intersect and connect with each other, unlike parallel lines. This is important because parallel lines create unity, and perpendicular lines create contrast, because contrast is two things going opposite, so perpendicular, opposite directions, and parallel, that's going the same. Anything that's the same is going to be united together. So those are our notes for line. When you are finished filling in these things, go ahead and click over to this value slide. Go ahead and pause me while you finish filling that all in. Awesome, we're now ready for value. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit so we can see, because the directions are right over here. It says arrange the values in the correct order to make a grayscale. So a grayscale is that visual representation of all of value, because value is that whole range from the very lightest to the very darkest grays. So the very, very lightest value, that's going to be this white right here. That is a tint. So tints, whites, create tints. Shades, on the other hand, those are made with black. Those are the very darkest colors. Then you can go ahead and fill in, gradually getting lighter as you go down to fill in your entire grayscale. It's okay if they kind of wave. Mine does it, it's fine. It doesn't actually change when a grayscale. You could have started a grayscale with black at the bottom and white at the top if it didn't say shade and tint. So if it doesn't tell you which way is which, you can go either direction and it's still a grayscale. But because this one is labeled with shades at the top and tints at the bottom, it has to go from dark at the top to light at the bottom. And those are your notes for value. So you can go ahead, and this video is going to cut off, and you can finish filling that all in, and then you are all set with the first project notes.